First, we'll learn the rules that we have to follow to submit the form. So whenever a form is submitted to server, form submission, whenever a form is submitted to server, what happens? What information it will send? Okay, so there are few rules that we have to understand. First thing, usually code will be like this: HTML body, close the body tag, close HTML tag. In general, it will be like this. Now what I'm saying, inside body tag, we are going to have form tag, and form will have even properties. And in the properties, one property you can call attribute. Properties or attribute. Action. One attribute is action. You have to specify URL here. And along with this, even you'll have method. We'll have two methods, like either post or get, and so on it continues. And here you have close of form tag. More information. Now what I'm saying, first rule is form tag cannot be nested with another form tag. What I'm saying is, within a form tag, you cannot write one more form tag. This is wrong. So you cannot create what? Nested form tag. One rule. One rule. Second rule. I don't know whether you remember or not. Especially input type. Input type. In the type, we get all these options available under input type. So I'll write a tag: input type equals to. We have all types here. What? Text 1, password, then submit, oblique, reset, oblique, button, oblique, image, oblique, file, oblique. What more we'll have? Checkbox, then oblique, radio, so on. Few I remember, I've just written those. These all dot 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 dot. These are your different what? Input type. Input type. This all comes under what? Input type. Now, connecting with these input types, you have to remember few things. Every input type, every input type will have name and value pair. Name and value pair, P-A-I-R, pair. Right? So this name and value pair, related to this, there are few things you have to remember on every control. Okay, what are they? But remember, these are your input types now. Now, first thing, remember, as I said, you have name and value pair. So I say input name equals to n1 name, and then uh, type equal to text box, type equal to text box, and I'll close. I'll close it. So what will happen? Text box is created. Text box. Input type equal to text itself will create what now? Text box. And in the text box, you input data. At runtime, in the text box, you give data. So whenever I submit a form to server, name and value pairs. What I'm saying? Name and value pairs will be submitted to server. Understand clearly? Whatever the value you input in text box and name, they both will be submitted to what? Server. Name and value pair. If it is input type equal to text. Hope there is another thing also I explained you. Input type equals to reset. We studied that will create reset button. So input type equal to reset. Even for this also you can give a name. Name equal to double quotes R1. Type equal to reset. Remember, reset is only to reset the form. So remember, this is not submitted to server. Input type equal to reset will not be submitted to server. Okay, so reset button is meant for only reset and it is not submitted to server. Same way, if at all I write input type equals to one second, I'll give this example. Input name equals to n2, type equal to text, and I write disable. If it is disable, I mean, here I'll close and I'll write here. If it is disabled. If it is disabled also, name and value pair is not submitted to server. Above input name equal to n1 type equal to text, it was not disabled. So it was submitted. Reset button will not be submitted to server. Name and value pair. Name and value pair will not be submitted to server. And then second one, input name equal to n2 type equal to text, that is also disabled. Name and value pair of that is also not submitted to server. Exactly same way, we have another approach. If at all I say input name equal to b1, type equal to button, if you write type equal to button, remember, especially this input type equal to button, whichever is there, it is meant for writing or executing. What? Client side code. What is client side coding? Anand, what is client side coding? Yeah, what is client side coding? By what you'll write client side coding? JavaScript. This is your client-side coding, JavaScript coding. That is input type equal to button is meant for that. Input type equal to button is meant for that. Same way, but this is not submitted to server. Not submitted to server. Because it is meant for executing or writing what client-side coding. So obviously it has nothing to do with server. This is one more rule. And checkbox is there, no? Checkbox. If checkbox is there, you may have, if I say checkbox, you'll have multiple checkboxes. We write like this, na? Input name equal to C1, type equal to checkbox, value is equal to C sharp. And the two, I'll have multiple checkboxes. Well, one checkbox, two checkbox, three checkbox, third checkbox. Here, three checkboxes are there. Obviously, everyone will have a different name now. C2, C3, and here I'll write VB. Here I write CP. Some data. Now, three checkboxes are there. Question is, will it submit all checkboxes? No. Possibility is like, if you select checkboxes, that will support you to select multiple checkboxes, not one. It will allow you to select all checkboxes. If you select all three checkboxes, then all three checkboxes name and value pairs are submitted to server. Imagine from the three checkboxes, if you have selected only one, then remember only that particular checkbox name and value is submitted to server. Right? So you have to remember that point as well. Radio button also, you may have group for the radio button, group. So say for example, you have these all available like input name equal to gender, type equal to radio, value is equal to male. It's not like you write all essay, you select this is one, this is second, this is third. Okay, now what you'll do here, I'll give values like male, female, others, 3, and confirm radio button will allow you to select one value. Checkboxes, one or more. Radio button, only one. Now will it submit all the name and value pairs? Definitely not. Whatever the radio button you selected from the 3, only that particular radio button's name and value pair is submitted to server. If you remember, there is another property also. In every input tag, you'll have every HTML tag rather, which we use basically for dynamic content. There is one more tag, ID. You remember ID? One more tag is there, ID, and that ID is meant for interacting with a control for client side purpose. That is for client side. For client side interaction, we use ID. For server interaction, we use name and value pair. When you want to submit your data, name will play important, especially when server interaction comes. Name value pair important. For client interaction, ID is important. I'm not saying like name will not work, but ID is important, because complete page you can find that IDs are always unique. And even we have this tag also, this tag, select a tag, drop down list. Select a tag. Select tag will have options. Here you'll have options, and that will create us for drop down list. So question, now will it select total select what do you call tag to server? No. Then what it will select? It will select only it will select only that value which is selected in the drop down list, only that value and its name, those will be transferred to server. So selected value, name and value will be submitted. Selected options, name and value will be submitted to what? Server. List box also, same story. List box also. Okay. So these were the options that we have. Select as that rule. Even select tag with what option it will be? Multiple option that will allow you to select multiple values. Size, select with size tag will make check what do you call list box. Select will only select without size option will create drop down list. Select with the size option will make you with available with what? Will make you available with what? Select with what option I'm saying? Size option. It will support you to create list box. And whatever the values you select, whether it is single or multiple, all those values will be submitted to server, including its name. Text area, if you have text area, name and value pair of text area will also be submitted to server. Okay. So these are the rules that you have to remember. So let's see then how it works. Exactly same part we are trying to deal now, keeping these rules in view. Close this. Open Visual Studio. Click on it. Now, first open a file. New file, HTML page. HTML page, click on open. Right, then save this. Same location, C drive, inetpub, www root, and I'll give my file. Demo ASP4.asp. Remember file name, fourth file. Okay. Click on save. Yes. First you complete your designing part. After that I'll talk about linking. First I say first name input type equal to text, name is equals to fn, that is first name. Break line. Two break line. Then I'll give something called last name. Then same thing. Yes. Here I write ln. First name, last name and value pair. And whenever you input data, this should be submitted to server. And only button that can submit your things to server is input type equal to submit, value is equal to submit. Yeah. Why did I write value equal to submit? Why we are not convenient only with input type equal to submit? What was the reason behind writing value equal to submit? And why we are not writing name? Because why we are not writing? Because we are not submitting submit button. We are not submitting. We are submitting form. The button has nothing to do at server. Button has nothing to do at what? Server. Okay, for that reason we didn't write. And why did you write value equal to submit? What is the reason behind writing value equal to submit? If you don't write value equal to submit, remember input type equal to submit alone means without this option. If you create, button will have a default text specified as submit query. What it will have? Submit query, that you will have. Save, try, open Internet Explorer, file name http://localhost demo asp4.asp. See there, default submit query, which I'm not interested. For that reason, I added value equal to submit. Now if I run, now it is submit. Value will make your text on the button to whatever you need. I can write, instead of submit, I can write log on, or I can say okay, anything. For that reason, button is used. Okay. Now, second point. Whatever, I'll show you. Go there one. Execute this one. Now I'll give here first name. I'll give Ahmed. Last name Sharif. Whenever I click on submit, this Ahmed and Sharif, along with their names, that is F and LN, should be submitted to server, and that FN and LN I'm supposed to retrieve through another form. Through what? Another form. Okay. First I'll add that form. Okay, add. File, new file. HTML page, open. Second form I'm opening. Save this. File name. Demo asp5.asp. Yes, it means whatever inputs you make in 4, that you have to get into 5. You have to get into 5. But you should say in 4 that submit data to 5. You should say you submit data to 4 and but should be accessed by 5. So you should say now that please 4 give the access to 5 so that 5 will access information. How do you mention that? That you have to mention here. How? You have to write form tag. Just now I said action is equals to which file? Demo asp5.asp. And somewhere here I close it. Form. Automatic, nothing is transferred, nothing is submitted. Okay, compulsory, you have to write that action attribute. Action attribute. Okay, do one thing. I just have mentioned, no? And demo ASP5 is also there. No? Nothing, we don't get any accessing, but just want to show you. Here I say, we are in demo asp5.asp file dot. Only for reference I'm giving. Actually, I want to access data actually. Chalo, right, save. Come back. Execute 4 again. Now give your inputs. Ahmed, Sharif, submit. It's going or not? Yes, it is going, no doubt. But parallelly, what is other thing happening, What is other thing happening? Whatever data you submitted, no, that is name and value, pair. Was it visible, huh? When I went with previous, here only values are visible. But confirm, this text box has a name called FN. This text box has a name called LN. But are they visible in the form? No. But when you submit, you can see in the URL. You can see in the URL. That is what you mean. Name and value pair. That name and value pair are visible in URL. Visible in URL. They are visible. Directly they are visible in URL. Now do one thing. Come back. Now let's go back again to the form. Now I write here. I write method is equals to get. Get I have written. Get. Save. Come back again. 4 I'm executing for second time. Again I'll give name. Ahmed Sharif. Submit. Right? Come back again. Now go to form. Now go to form. Now make correction here. Instead of get, I write post. Post. Save. Come back. Execute the form. Now give your name. Ahmed Sharif. Click on submit. Now there is no name value pair in the URL. There is no name value pair in the URL. It means if you write get or if you don't write method in the form tag, by default method becomes get. If you write method equals to get or if you don't write method attribute, in both the cases page is submitted. Page is submitted. Page is submitted using which method? Get method. And what is happening at that time? Whenever method is get, then you can see whatever data you are submitting, that all will be available in the URL. All name value pairs will be available in the URL. Way that makes your submission less secure, because everyone can see what is the data you are submitting to server. Name and value pair is visible directly. For that reason, I have changed my method to post. Now name and value will be submitted to server, but through background process. It is not directly available. It is not directly available. You can't see that in URL. Now, after giving so clear demonstration, tomorrow if I again ask you what is method equal to get and what is method equal to post, so I don't want you to keep your blank faces. I want you to react on it like whatever the option that we are going to apply. That matters a lot. And clear demonstration I have shown you of what difference you notice between name and value pair. You go through my notes. Of web server, web browser introduction notes we had. In that, I very clearly mentioned important points of get method, important points of post method. If it is get method, then every name value pair will be available in the URL. Because of that, you are not going to submit huge amount of data to server. Your submission becomes limited. If it is going through background process, any amount of data can be submitted. That is not secured. This is secured. People will not know what you are submitting to server. Anand, you are listening or not, Anand? Romana, are you there, Romana? Following all the things or not? Do you understand what I explained? Everything? Okay, okay. Because what I personally feel, uh, uh, your job as a .NET programmer will be maximum on ASP.NET. Maximum. Very rare companies will ask you to develop applications on C#.NET because C#.NET develops only desktop applications. Very rare, I'm saying. You understand? Very rare, very rare. Hmm. So here name and value pair of sorry, what I was saying is coming to C sharp, what very rare I'm saying. The project, I'm not saying you won't have project. Compulsory knowledge is needed at any cost. Knowledge is required. Without that, there's no meaning. But still, what I want to conclude here is you are going to develop applications in ASP.NET, taking C sharp as a background coding, as a background coding. Here, what is the language being used in ASP? What is the language is being used in ASP? Anand, hey Romana, listen to the query and answer. I said, what is the language being used in ASP? Anand, you answer. Hey, what happened to you both, Srinivas? Hey, अरे, yesterday VB script यार, VB script. Yesterday I demonstrated now. You all said you understood. I have shown the tags percentage between two percentages I have used. ASP.NET में we are going to use C sharp or VB. Srinivas, C sharp and ASP will be part of ASP.NET. C sharp.NET and VB.NET will be part of ASP.NET. I'm talking about ASP, extension ASP. C sharp is not used, VB script. Do you understand or not? Acha, how do you check that, Anand? How do you check that we are using VB script? No? Okay. Yeah, no. So what did I say? Just recollect. Whatever the data submitted by form 4, 5 will receive. And in 5, which object will make that process receive? Request object. Then dot form. And then variable, fn. Request dot form, ln. These are the two variables that has come, names that has been submitted by 4. So using those names, we are going to get the values. And those values will be brought into fname, lname. And now we want them to print. So to print, I say equal to. One minute. Equal to, I write here, hello. Then ampersand, fname, ampersand, double quote, space I mean to say, ampersand, lname, percentage, greater than. But save this. Now come back to browser. execute 4, give your data as Ahmed, click on submit. Yes, this is the content which we are reading through other file. ASP demo asp5.asp is reading the data. And not necessary, these many percentages. I would have made all them in 1% itself. Here, individually I said, instead of individually, you can put all of them in one less than percent, like I mean to say like this, less than percentage, percentage greater than. Now this I can make as group, and you write all those instructions here, one and the same. Okay, and you want this output. Over. For understanding, I write break line, break line, break line. 3 break lines I get. Only for understanding. Chalo, right, go back. I switch. I just have Internet Explorer. Open it. Then http://localhost demo asp4.asp. First name is then click on submit. What is the message? Error. The website cannot display the page. Why? Because of having confusion in the what content. So I just change my variables now. I change here. I'll use those things like surname. Here I change official name. And I change these variables as well. I better call this SN. Here I call this as official name. Official name. Okay. Save. Let's try again. I give again. Submit. Same issue. It's not allowing me. And moreover, we are getting which error? 500. Means it is server related error. 500. Server related error. So I'll close this completely. Variable part. Here I'll close. Percentage greater than. And here I open. Percentage. Okay. Here I write. Okay. Come back. Re-execute the code again. Here I write. Submit. This is supporting. Do you find a working of this? But when I was doing individual, yes, we were getting output of that. Do one thing. Select all this. For a while, delete this stuff. Come back. Now save. Open Internet Explorer. Type the URL. http://localhost demo asp4.asp. First name Ahmed. Second name Sharif. Click on submit. Yes, it's working. Okay. Undo that code once. Comment this part now. Comment this part. Okay. Submit. Okay, it's not supporting. Yes. Yes. Might be that issue was with on. I'll paste everything now. Let's club and execute. Yes. Issue was with on. On might be a keyword. On. For that reason, we got error. I just changed that on to LNA, like last name. It's working. Two ways also fine. Now this line also will club here. Why to write separate? Club this line here itself in this server tag. Yeah, here only I added. Remove this extra. Save. Come back again. Re-execute the code once again. Give the input. Click on submit. Achha. Okay, request and output, it's not keeping in one line. Okay. Come back again. Re-execute the code one more time. Same thing I'll give. Click on submit. Yes. Yeah. Output statement and request both cannot be in one single server tag. It should be separate. That's it. Tomorrow's class we'll discuss another example, and that example will be related with CGI variables. CGI, Common Gateway Interface. They're not CGI, server variable. On that I'll discuss. And tomorrow's class itself, even I'm going to start ASP.NET. Okay.